200 meters above the open ocean, a crane operator watches a single wind turbine blade, longer than a football field, swinging gently at the end of a cable, waiting for the exact right moment to lower it into place within a few centimeters of tolerance. One bad gust at the wrong second could turn a $400 million prototype into twisted scrap metal floating on the waves. This is how the largest wind turbine ever built actually gets assembled, and getting it up there safely turned out to be almost as difficult as designing the machine itself. Once it's finally standing, the turbine itself works through a chain of remarkably simple mechanical steps. Wind flowing across a blade creates lift, not thrust, the same way it works on an airplane wing, pulling the blade forward and around rather than just pushing it flat. That lift spins a central shaft inside the nacelle, the housing sitting behind the blades, feeding into a gearbox that dramatically increases rotation speed before the power ever reaches the generator, which converts that fast mechanical spin directly into electrical current. A turbine doesn't need a storm to start working either. Most blades begin turning in wind as gentle as 9 miles an hour, roughly the same breeze that would just barely lift a kite off the ground. Anything stronger simply produces more electricity, not a requirement to produce any at all. And the relationship isn't gentle in the slightest. Double the wind speed, and the electricity generated can jump by a factor of 8, since power scales with the cube of wind velocity rather than rising in a straight line. A typical onshore turbine today carries a capacity of 2 to 3 megawatts and generates somewhere around 6 million kilowatt hours of electricity over a full year, enough to power roughly 1,500 average homes. According to the United States Geological Survey, an average turbine in 2020 produced enough electricity in just 46 minutes to power a typical American home for an entire month. But the crew installing the Haliade-X weren't building anything typical. They were assembling the largest machine of its kind ever attempted, and nearly everything about installing it had to be reinvented from scratch. None of this happens in isolation either. Wind power alone already supplies roughly 8% of the world's electricity, and in the United States, it has grown into the third largest source of electricity generation overall, providing well over 10% of the country's total power, up from a figure close enough to zero to round down just 4 decades ago. Lowering a component weighing hundreds of tons onto a tower rising more than 100 meters above the water, within a tolerance of just a few centimeters, simply cannot be done from the deck of an ordinary ship. A normal vessel floats, which means it pitches and rolls with every passing swell, and a rolling deck turns a precise lift into a dangerous swinging pendulum. For a machine the size of the Haliade-X, that problem only gets worse, since its nacelle alone weighs somewhere between 600 and 900 tons. Engineers solved it with a specialized ship called a wind turbine installation vessel, built with massive mechanical legs instead of relying on buoyancy alone. Once positioned at the exact site, the vessel lowers those legs straight down to the seabed and physically lifts its own hull clear out of the water, a process called jacking up. In that moment, the ship stops behaving like a ship entirely and becomes a fixed, motionless platform standing on stilts in open ocean, letting the crane above finally lift with the same precision it would have on solid ground. From that stable platform, the tower goes up first in sections, followed by the nacelle, then the blades, sometimes fitted 2 at a time onto the hub in what engineers actually call a bunny ear configuration, before the assembled rotor gets lifted as one complete piece and bolted onto the top of the tower. Every stage depends on calm enough weather to hold that precision, which is exactly why installation crews can spend days simply waiting on standby for the wind and waves to cooperate before making a single lift. That waiting isn't just caution for its own sake either. A gust hitting an unsecured blade mid-lift can generate enough sideways force to swing hundreds of tons of composite material straight into the tower itself. A collision that could total the very structure the crew spent weeks building. Weather forecasters embedded with offshore installation teams track conditions almost obsessively. And an entire lift can be called off within minutes if the window shifts even slightly outside safe limits. The blades themselves create a transport problem long before installation even begins. Each one on the Haliade-X measures 107 meters long, longer than a football field, and about 1.5 times the length of a Boeing 747 fuselage. No ordinary road or bridge on Earth could physically carry something that size, which is exactly why the factory manufacturing them sits directly on a coastline, letting finished blades roll straight from the production line onto a waiting ship instead of ever touching a highway. Once fully assembled, the finished Haliade-X stands 260 meters tall from base to raised blade tip, more than twice the height of the Statue of Liberty and only about 40 meters shorter than the Eiffel Tower. Its rotor spans 220 meters across, wider than 2 full American football fields laid end to end, and the blade tips move at roughly 324 kilometers an hour at full rotation, faster than a Formula One car at top speed, even though the base of the tower never moves an inch. All of that engineering, all of that risk, 200 meters above the waves, pays off in numbers that stop feeling like household statistics fairly quickly. A single full rotation of the rotor generates about 25 kilowatt hours, and 3 complete turns produce enough energy to fully charge a long-range Tesla Model 3 from empty. One finished turbine can supply electricity to more than 16,000 European households, and just 6 of them together can generate roughly the same annual electricity as an entire country, the Maldives, home to more than 500,000 people. No turbine, however large, converts every bit of available wind into usable electricity. Even the most efficient modern designs typically operate between 30 and 50% efficiency, since physics sets a hard ceiling on how much energy a spinning blade can ever pull from moving air. Reaching that ceiling took a machine 260 meters tall, a ship that turns itself into a platform in the middle of the ocean, and a crew willing to wait days for calm weather just to lift a single blade into place. My name is George, and this is Cogline.